Welcome back to Harrelson Trumpets. It's August 21st, a Wednesday. I know it's been a long time since I've had a video put out there, but we've got some really exciting news for you, and this is going to affect pretty much anyone who works with us at Harrelson Trumpets in terms of fitting for trumpets or mouthpieces or any of our accessories. And before we get to that, I want to mention that even though I haven't put a video out in quite a while, I have actually been filming videos. In fact, I covered the ITG conference, the International Trumpet Guild Conference, and I have a whole series of videos that will be coming out so you guys can virtually go to the ITG and see what that's like. And I'll probably be doing a lot more of that coverage of different conferences and interviews. And also I did a Rumors and Dreams interview, which is our new podcast with Terry Warburton. So that's going to be released soon. And let's jump into everything we have to say today, which really is all about making the improvements that you want in your playing and your equipment if needed. And I know a lot of people say, well, you never need new equipment, you just need to practice more. And I really don't believe in that line of thought. However, I do see where people are coming from, and I kind of see it as a 50-50 thing. If you don't have good equipment, you're not going to achieve as much success with the same amount of effort. However, if you're not putting in the effort, the equipment's not going to help. I totally agree with that. I'm the first person to really say that that's true, because at the end of the day, if you don't know how to play, how are you going to do it? And in my own personal life, I have put in thousands and thousands of hours of practicing trumpet and piano and other instruments. And I know for a fact that a lot of that effort can be lost if I'm playing on an instrument that isn't great. But at the end of the day, if I didn't put in all that time and I didn't have those skills, I wouldn't know how many gains I could make with the equipment. So they go hand in hand. But today isn't so much about talking about how and why the equipment really does work. It's all about letting you know that since it's the end of August, moving into September, I've worked really hard. My team has worked really hard. Jen and Christine and I have built a lot of really beautiful horns. Every single one of these horns is something that can take your playing to the next level. And this isn't so much a sales video as an announcement. We're making deals on trumpets right now because we are upgrading our equipment. So we have sold 2 of our lathes and our milling machine, and they're already gone. If you follow us on social media, you saw the truck came and picked them up, and they're out of here. And now the machine shop is mostly empty. It's really big with 1 mill turn center left in there. And we right now are negotiating to purchase 1 or 2 new machines. And these machines will take us from where we were, which was pretty high in terms of machinability and accuracy and all those things, to a completely another level where we can automate these machines. In other words, we can set them up so they can make multiple different types of parts all in the same setup. And having 2 of these high-end newer machines will allow us to produce all of our families of parts all at the same time without having to change tools. What that really means is these upgrades are going to pretty much eradicate wait times for any custom items, and it's going to improve our productivity and throughput, meaning technically some of our products are probably going to come down in price and you'll get them sooner, and we will start offering dealerships, which we did many years ago. So that's the other big announcement. So if you want to get in on some really great deals on beautiful new and used horns, I'm going to show you those if you're interested in that. The reason that we are essentially offering great deals on these horns is because we want to make the money to purchase the new machines. And these machines are not inexpensive. We're talking retail price on the 2 machines we're looking at is close to $450,000. So those are not small numbers. With that said, we have an opportunity to save on those and to get them for less if we do it quickly. And I'm motivated, and I'm sure you're motivated too, to get into a better horn. So if there's something I have in stock, new or used, and I'll show you those horns, and you want to make a deal on it, now is the time to do that. Because once we have the funds and we move forward with the purchase and we move on with life, then, like I said, in early January, we will be boosting our prices up. Some of them have already gone up, like the Summit and the Summit 1 prices have already gone up to next year's pricing. Everything will move up there, and really now's the time to make a good deal. And I'm talking, I'll make you great deals, and I'll even accept trades. But I only have so much inventory that I can offer you guys, and that's that. So dealerships are coming. We will be offering dealer pricing, price breaks based on what you're going to carry in your store. We're very selective about that. I'll talk more about it in future videos. But if you are a trumpet dealer or a music store and you're considering carrying Harrelson, feel free to reach out to us. Our number is 303-657-2747, or email us. You can email us directly from our website and let us know, what you're thinking, what your intentions are. And we are pursuing having dealers, mostly internationally, but a few in the U.S. So we're considering maybe breaking the U.S. into 3 or 4 regions, and one of them is already taken. The other part of that is the new machines, and as I said, I won't know for sure what that looks like. We may be purchasing 1 or 2 new machines, and there's a good chance I'll be flying out next week and looking at them, and you'll see videos and find out why that's so important to us, and why it's important to you. So all of that to say, a lot of changes, and if that's all you wanted to hear, you can end the video. If you're interested in checking out what we have in stock, anything I show you right now, you can make a deal on, which means you can call me, we can discuss your needs, we can figure out which horn will fit you, and we can negotiate the price if it's in stock. If it's not in stock, it's a whole nother thing. And if it's a custom order, it's a whole nother thing. But I am willing to work with all of you. And if you're ordering a custom horn, you can set up a payment plan. So let's look at the horns. The first one is this Summit. This is the second Summit trumpet I have built with the stainless steel bracing. I prototyped this new stainless steel laser sintered bracing essentially to test how to solder this type of stainless to brass. We figured it out. This one looks really beautiful. It plays very nice. And if you want to see more about this horn, you can go to the previous YouTube videos that show specifically this instrument. So I'm not going to spend time on it today, but it is kind of the cream of the crop Summit trumpet, the latest generation. Excuse me. And because it's a prototype, these braces will no longer be in production. There was a short run of them. And so if you're looking for a horn that has historic value in terms of the evolution of trumpet, this would be one of the, in my opinion, one of the most interesting evolutions of the trumpet, because this is the first horn to have stainless steel bracing that was laser sintered using metal 3D printing technologies and combining that with brass. And we have 2 braces down here that also were laser sintered and silver soldered in place. And we also have a CNC machined tuning slide. So this is truly a hybrid horn, right in between where we've been machining for many years, some of the components like the tuning slide and the lead pipe, and then laser sintering. And what you'll see on the Summit G4 that comes in a few months, probably in November, which will most likely be debuted by one of our dealers, you'll see there that the entire tuning slide is laser sintered and other components are laser sintered. And the bracing is completely different. It's even lighter than this lightweight version. This is very light, but the new one will be lighter and better. And the only downside is it'll cost more. But we're talking, these are horns now that are not heavy. And I know a lot of people thought the Summit series was on the edge of being heavy. This is not. I mean, this is just a little bit heavier than a Bach. And you could hold this all day long very easily. And it's literally one of the most efficient horns you'll ever play. So that is the stainless steel number 2. I should have mentioned, it also has some limited edition bronze top and bottom caps. And I built those just for fun because I was having fun with the prototypes. This one is the GS15. Now the GS15 is, the GS stands for garage sale. And garage sale, that whole thing came about years ago, I think during COVID, when we were clearing out a lot of our leftovers, like a lot of our stuff that was either seconds or it was just one-off things that we hadn't sold. And during COVID, we would have quite a few of these. Let me stop this here. We'd have quite a few of these garage sales. We do a live garage sale right here in the showroom. and we would just sell, you know, whatever leftover mouthpieces or mouthpiece parts or mod kits or even trumpets. And I started piecing together trumpets essentially that had defective components. None of the trumpets were completely defective, but they just had things that didn't pass inspection. And that evolved into a number of garage sale horns, and I numbered them all. This is number 15, and really I think we're pretty much out. I think number 16 is on my bench. It's already sold. Somebody already purchased it because they saw this horn. And essentially the idea is to make unique, interesting, fun instruments that play really well, that we're using some of the defective parts. And this is funny because the general consensus I've heard from people is that we're kind of an elitist company that only sells expensive things, and that really has never been true. And the other thing that I've heard is that, you know, other brands that are custom brands, you know, they might be more affordable and be more of the everyday person's trumpet because of the price range, but they would never put out anything that was defective. And the interesting thing is both of those things really aren't true in considering Harrelson and what we do. In reality, we're always trying to build trumpets that are the most efficient, the most versatile, and also the best price. Preferably the lightest trumpets as possible. And even though we've had heavier instruments because we've created things that are more efficient and they require more mass, weight is in there too. We want to make them less expensive, lighter, more versatile, and of course more efficient, so they're easier to play. And efficiency is all about how much energy you put in and how much sound you get out, you know. So we are not afraid to sell something that has not passed inspection. I never have been afraid of that, but I do like to label it so that you know what it is. So if you see a GS trumpet out there, you know that was one of those ones that has some defective parts. They work perfectly fine, they just didn't look perfect. And instead of throwing everything away, that's a lot of productivity that was lost over very simple mistakes. There's no reason to do that. So on this instrument, I'm looking at it right now to see, well, what was wrong with this instrument? Well, really not much. I mean, the lead pipe is brand new. Of course, almost everything's brand new. The only things that were, so the bell is fine, the fingerings are perfect and brand new. The tuning slide was a defective or did not pass inspection tuning slide. And essentially we had some tuning slides that I had some of our team members who were in training work on years ago, and in doing that they didn't do everything perfect and there were some flaws, and this one has some slight flaws. Now it plays just fine, and I'll play it for you in a second, and there's another video on this horn, but I just want you to know the GS horns, they are some kind of unusual, didn't pass inspection assembly. Usually it's only one or two components. Now on this one it was a tuning slide, and it was also the bottom caps. All three of these bottom caps were prototypes for the ones I just showed you on the previous horn. So they don't actually match. They're three different styles, all the same length, but they're all slightly different, and that's because I was working on creating a new design, and these were the prototypes for that new design. So you can see me working through the process of designing the new bottom caps there. And then this receiver, there was nothing wrong with it. It's just one that I literally put on the sanding wheel to create a different texture for a different build, and then I never used it. So it still has a little bit of that texture. We buffed some of it out, but it's still a little textured. And it includes 2 flames finger rings and 1 skeletonized finger ring, so they're mismatched. Now this horn, by our regular build sheet and how we normally price horns, it's over a $6,000 build. But because it has kind of this mismatched, you know, series of components, then it's going to cost a different price. Some things make it less valuable and some things make it more valuable. One of the things that increases the value on this horn is that it was the first to ever have an H-series brace, which is right here on the top, in stainless steel. So that's a laser sintered brace in stainless steel, and then the brass one on the other side, and that was, again, an experiment. And then it also has one of our first laser sintered topology optimized stainless steel braces right here. So there's a lot of interesting things about this horn. Those could be reasons you want to own it. It also has one of our experimental hex receivers, which has never been put into production, but has been used a few times. So this has the H1 lead pipe. It has the VGR system, so you can adjust flexibility, slotting, airflow. And impedance, and it also has Bell 3R. So those are all features that add value. It also has some really nice matrix turquoise conglomerate finger button inlays. And I want to play it for you, but before I do, I just want to say I'll make the deal of a lifetime on this horn. I think the price is like $6,500 or something. I'm not going to tell you the prices on this video. If you're really interested in getting a new horn, just call me. But I will give you an amazing deal on this horn because it's a GS, a garage sale horn. That's with Spectratone Red. And that reminds me, there actually is one more announcement. Here's Spectratone Yellow. Obviously, warmer and darker, it's more of an all-around mouthpiece. And then we'll go to Spectratone Blue. Obviously really big and warm. That was Spectratone Red, Yellow, and Blue. And I was talking about the GS15. Like I said, call me or email me at harrelsontrumpets@gmail.com. We'll make a deal on this horn. It's a beautiful playing horn. If you want different finger rings, you can pay extra to have ergonomic finger rings put on it. But this is probably the best deal I'm going to offer this year on any horn. And again, I'm not going to tell you the price, but it's going to be really fair. The other big announcement, which the problem with these videos is I should really put one out every week, and I try to, but I've been machining a ton of stuff before we sell all our machines. And I machined and machined and machined. I made a ton of stuff. I went on vacation. One of my friends passed away. I had to drive to Minnesota, go to a funeral, see a lot of friends. All that to say, I've just been really crazy busy this summer. And I went to the ITG conference, and I spent all my time there filming and interviewing people. It's been an action-packed summer, even though you haven't seen it on YouTube. The issue is, it's really hard to release a video every week and give you the big, announcements every single time because I get so busy doing things. But there's another announcement. Next week, I believe on Monday, on BackerKit, backerkit.com, which we've used before, we're re-releasing Spectratone mouthpieces in red, yellow, and blue. Those would be the best prices you can get on Spectratone ever. And we're doing this re-release also because it's another big push to help purchase the machines. And we have a limited quantity of different body styles and variations. But essentially you can pick up a Spectratone red, yellow, or blue for the best price you're ever gonna see on BackerKit starting next Monday. And the first 2 days of the campaign, the pricing is going to be crazy low. After that, the pricing goes up a little bit, and it's only, I believe, a 9-day campaign. So for like 9 days, you can purchase this. And I just want to mention that because that's what I was playing right there. And with that, the Spectratone red, yellow, and blue, you get to choose the body style and whether you want it silver or brass and the shape of it. And then the components that create the bright red colors, or the yellow kind of in the middle of the road color, or the blue, which is really dark. You get to choose which internal components you're going to get, red, yellow, or blue. And we don't have orange, green, and violet yet. Those will come out later once we have the new machines up and running. But what I'll say is this campaign is different than others. You can actually purchase just one of them, or you can purchase the set of 3 and get a discount on all of them. Or you can purchase one of them, and then you can buy the internal components that build the other 2 colors and not have to spend as much and use it as intended as a modular mouthpiece. So whether or not you want all 3 colors, which I highly recommend because they do come in handy. I mean, I find every single day when I'm playing, I'm switching between those 3 colors with the same rem. You may want one of each, or you may want to be able to put the internal components in to change them. And we sell those as different sets on the BackerKit campaign. So something to know, something to check out. Let's go on to the next one we have. A lot of our clients own a Summit or a Bravura. And a lot of you have asked me, well, can I change the lead pipe or can I change the bell, because I played it for years and I decided I want it darker or brighter or something else. Really, getting into a Muse trumpet is the ultimate solution. And I know a lot of people see this, they see this horn and they think, oh, it must be super heavy. Well, it isn't super heavy. So I'll just say that the way we machined the parts, it is much lighter than it looks. And I can hold this horn for hours at a time. It's not a problem. However, if you want it lighter, there will be lighter versions coming. But if you have a Summit or a Bravura or an H series or any of the other models that we've offered over the years in X series, and you've always thought, wouldn't it be awesome to have a modular trumpet? If you purchased your Harrelson trumpet from me, then I will give you bonus credit trading into a Muse trumpet. If you have more than one Harrelson, we'll consider more than one. If you have a Harrelson and a couple other horns that you want to trade towards a Muse, we will consider that too. I'll give you really extremely fair trade values to get into a new Muse trumpet. And if you're not interested in any of those things and you want to buy a Muse trumpet right off the wall, then I will give you special incentives with upgrades. So I'm not really going to be adjusting the price on the Muse. However, we can definitely give you better trade values this 2 or 3 week period only. And like I said, if you are, a loyal Harrelson customer who's had our horns for years, even if it's just one horn and you want to trade up, I'll give you bonus credit towards a Muse. And we do offer payment plans, and it can be a custom order because I only have this one in stock. But remember I said I was doing all that machining earlier this summer before we moved the machines out just 2 weeks ago. When I was doing all that work, I made enough components, Muse components, it was mostly Muse, to build 17 more Muse trumpets, which I believe will put us almost to the end of the entire series of this variation. And then after that, we come out with a different version that will be laser sintered, which would be lighter and cost more. So it will still be universally compatible with all the ones I've made in the past. So the lead pipes and bells come off. They're very quick and easy to change. And when you do that on the Muse, essentially you can play any lead pipe and bell. And we have customers that will send in 1, 2, or 3 horns at a time, or bells in at a time, and have them converted to the Muse system. So you could have a Monet bell and put it on your Muse, or it could be a bell from, your favorite bell from when you were growing up, or your teacher's bell, or whatever it might be, from an old horn that got damaged or that is no longer usable for whatever reason. And so that's a lot of fun. And you can also build any lead pipe with the lead pipe segments. So if you are someone who's really interested in taking your playing to the next level and being able to do everything with the horn, literally make this into any kind of instrument just by changing a few things in a few seconds, this is the horn that does that. And I'm happy to work with you guys and build you custom Muse trumpets. And this is the Muse. I'll play it just for a second. I don't know how it's set up because somebody was in here playing it yesterday, but I'll put this Spectratone yellow into it. Yeah, that sounds nice with the yellow. And let me see which lead pipe is on here. That's lead pipe 3. So lead pipe 3 is fairly small. It's designed for lead playing. And it definitely feels very comfortable as a lead playing horn. It's the 1LT bell, so it's set up for lead. Yeah, it definitely screams. Now let's take the same configuration. We'll just put in Spectratone blue so you can see what that does to the sound. Feels nice. I should have had that slide out earlier. That is the Muse, and it's been a while since I've talked about it. You're going to hear me talk about the Muse a lot because it really is the ultimate solution for players who are looking for that specific feel and sound of a vintage, whatever it might be, or something more modern. Like a lot of people are saying, oh, I want to recreate the Martin Committee. Well, that can be done in like 60 seconds on this horn, and we can share the configuration with you. You see all these bells and lead pipes on the table here are part of the Muse system, and we're working on making this entire wall right here just Muse components. So that'll happen in the next couple months. We've been working on it already and building all the components to do that. But essentially the Muse is the ultimate solution, and of course it does cost more, but it's worth every penny. And if you're not sure about that, then come here and try one. I'd be happy to pick you up at the airport and drop you off, and work with you and see what exactly works for you and why. And you can bring in your other instruments and compare them. And we have a lot of clients who do that, and they walk out with a brand new Muse. And this one is in silver. It's polished and brushed. We have bells also in silver available, or you can choose some in brass, and same with the lead pipes. And that instrument is available as a custom order. So like I said, I think I can build 17 more, and then we move on to the next variation. I want to show you this other Muse trumpet. It's already sold. So this is sold to a fabulous Latin jazz player, who I'm not going to announce his name because I'll let him do that when he has a horn in his hands. But he purchased this horn, and he already plays on a Muse trumpet, and he wanted this one that is the Crackle edition. And there is a video on this horn, and it also has a hand-hammered bell. But I just want to show it to you because I personally think that it turned out really cool. Sometimes I can't believe this is my job, like I get to build stuff like this. But after putting in so many hours creating all these things, and then doing all this special engraving to make them turn out like this, and then to hold it and play it, it's like truly a dream come true for me. I feel like the luckiest trumpet player in the world. One, because I get to meet and work with so many amazing players all the time. And then also because I just get to have so much fun building the horns and applying the science and the psychology. It's a lot of fun. So anyhow, that is the Crackle. I couldn't help but show it off. This one up here is my personal horn. We'll skip over that. We're gonna move on to one that I just finished. And this is another Crackle horn. And I'll tell you why I did this. I created this Crackle, I call it Crackle design that I'm laser engraving on parts. And the challenge is you really, lasers aren't really designed, most of them, to be able to have depth of field where you can engrave different levels or layers or thicknesses. Normally it's just this flat plane and that's it. And when I created this actual texture, which is almost like clay that's broken up after a rainstorm in a dry lake bed. If you've ever seen that, like out in Arizona or Nevada or Utah or here in Colorado, you get these rains and then everything turns to a dry lake bed, turns into a complete lake for a few weeks or a few months, and then it dries up and you get all these crackled pieces of mud that just become dried. And that was the inspiration for these designs, these Crackle designs. And some people think it looks a little bit like tree bark as well. So this is a Summit 1 that was designed with the Crackle design. And this one was purely an experiment. So I wasn't intending on selling this horn. And because I wasn't, I didn't even engrave a serial number or anything on it. Like there's nothing engraved on the valve set. On the underside, I did stamp it. So it is stamped, let me see what it says. It says Denver, USA. And then on the other side, it says lead pipe. Let's see what lead pipe it was. 3, bell 10, 10 LT. So I did stamp it, so we know what that is, but there's no date or anything else on it. And that's mostly because I was just experimenting with this Crackle design and putting it together. I wasn't sure it would work out because I was afraid that the solder would bleed into the engraving and we may have to take it apart and start over. I didn't expect it to turn out fine. It turned out perfectly fine. So this Summit 1, because it doesn't have that engraving on it, I'll make an extra good deal on as well. Not as low as that GS horn, but let's play it and just check it out. I'm gonna start with Spectratone Blue on this one. Again, it does have the VGR on it. And the lead pipe is marked right here. That feels nice. Even though it's a lead pipe 3, which is fairly small, and I haven't put an insert in it, it still feels pretty good. Now, when you change the inserts, which I could do here, if I put the right size insert in there, it'll feel way better. And if you're the kind of player that uses a lot of airflow, then we'd set you up with the inserts that allow that. And if you're one that wants more resistance because you like that feeling better, you can do that. But we can also adjust the impedance level, meaning we can change this insert length until you get the maximum resonance in your bell. And when that happens, the whole thing just comes alive. Yeah, that really feels nice without even adjusting impedance. Now, really, this was designed to be more of a really big, wide open sounding lead horn. Lead pipe 3 is small, so it's great for playing lead charts and commercial music. It can be used for everything. If you're a player that is older and you find you don't have as much air support, lead pipe 3 is perfect for that. Even if you're playing in community band or orchestra, it'll still play just fine. And the 10LT is a really big tapered bell. You can hear it ring. And on our horns, we have less bracing. Even on the Summit 1, the bell doesn't have a brace all the way up here. It's moved back, so it can ring even more. And we get more resonance in the bell because of that. And on the Summit and the other series, you'll see the bell braces even further back. And that's intentional to increase the bell resonance. But essentially, the 10LT will give you a really big, warm, but also vibrant sound. This is Spectratone Red, so it's the lead mouthpiece. I keep overshooting the B flat. Yeah, that feels really, really nice, but it's the kind of lead sound that's really big, like a Doc Severinsen large bore sound, even though it has a smaller lead pipe with that big LT bell, and the LT means it's lighter, so it'll light up easier. All right, so that is the Summit 1 Crackle edition. And because it's not marked, it doesn't say that anywhere on the horn. But it does say on the top here, it says Summit 1 and Harrelson. Those were originally engraved in the brace. And then I did the Crackle edition overlay engraving on top of that. Let me hold it up close once. All right, so let's put that one on the wall. Got much more to see here. I didn't want to make this a really long video, but I kind of had no choice. The other instruments I want to show you, this is the most cost-effective trumpet that I have that's brand new. And this is the X1G. It's marked X56, but it's part of the X1G series. It's got a lead pipe, essentially our H1 in the ML size, and the 1G bell. And I'm reading everything on the valve set here. It was made in May, and I think we built 4 of these horns. It was actually a series of about 30 horns. And this subset of these was the 1G bell, which is what this one has. And we did 4 identical horns in the 1G bell, and they turned out really well. It has a red brass or bronze tuning slide and the same red brass bell, but it's called a G bell, which is technically we call it a gold brass. It just means that it has more copper in it. Let's play this one. plays really well, and it's fairly easy to play in tune in the upper register. This is part of the X series, the X bracing series, where we have done the X bracing, and that increases the resonance. And just because it's balanced well with this lead pipe and bell, it tends to play pretty well in tune. Let me put the Spectratone yellow into this one. Now that feels a little more comfortable. That Spectratone red, it really punches. And as you go higher and higher, it wants to ease that pitch up. And now the Spectratone yellow has a little more air volume in it. And because I don't play a lot of lead, I'm not as good at playing those mouthpieces, even though it's fun. This is more kind of the middle of the road. The Spectratone yellow gives it more of a bigger bodied sound, and it's even easier to play in tune. So that really does feel more comfortable. All right, so that is, it's on our website, the X1G. Again, because it's this unusual period of transition for us, I would be happy to make a deal on that horn with you. And now I have a bunch of trades that came in because we've been taking trades this summer. And that's mostly, we do that to help you guys get into one of our horns, because not everyone can afford one. And a lot of people will buy a brand new, whatever brand horn, and they'll play it for a few months or even maybe 6 months. And they'll say, you know what, why didn't I just buy a Harrelson? And I hear that all the time. And for years now, we haven't accepted trades. And people will call and they'll say, man, I would have bought your horn, but I just bought a new Monet, or I just bought a new Adams, or a Van Law, or whatever, fill in the blank with whatever brand, right? And a lot of people are buying the horns that are the most common up and coming horns, or the ones that are available in their town. I see a lot of Shires Trumpets because Shires distributes all over now. And I hear a lot of the same things. So, and not to say these brands aren't great. Some people really find the horn that fits them, and it's great. The thing is, you can have an amazing brand new Shires trumpet, and it just may not be the right configuration for you. And it may feel good in the showroom the first day, and you take it home and you play it, and after a couple of months you're like, well, it actually isn't doing what I expected. There's no way to take that trumpet, whether it's whatever brand, and then adjust it to make it fit you. And with our VGR system and our mouthpiece system, we specifically designed these entire modular systems to solve that problem. So when you buy a Harrelson, if you're willing to put in the time and do the, put in the effort and learn how the system works, then almost every one of our horns is going to fit you, as long as it created the tonal color you're looking for. And that's why so few of our horns actually really go back on the secondhand market. The ones that do, a lot of times, are people who can't play anymore, or who have passed away, or who they have significant changes in what the requirements are. So, and sometimes the horn just doesn't fit them. But if that happens to you and you own a Harrelson, call me. I'll do everything I can to work that out. And if that means we trade into a different horn, or we start to adjust the Venturi gap receiver system and the mouthpiece to make it fit you, whatever it takes, that's what we do. And that's what it should take. That's normal. But the thing is, you bought a brand new Shires, you spent $4,000, you had it for 2 months, and then you realize it just doesn't work. And then you visit here, and normally we don't take trades because we just normally don't like to mess with lots of extra trades. But this summer we offered them, so I've got a bunch of trades sitting over here. I'm going to pick some up and show you. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 of the 5 I'm going to show you are like new or brand new, and that just goes in with the conversation. That's what happens. A lot of people have a brand new horn. They spent $4,000 or $5,000 on this new horn, and then they're like, well, great, why didn't I just buy something that'll work for me? And since we've been taking trades, we got them. So I have an almost new Adams, or maybe it's brand new, an almost new Edwards X13. Oh no, that one is brand new. A brand new Manchester brass cornet, a used Shires B1, and I think the other one I have, oh, I didn't bring it over. Oh yeah, I did. We also have a Benge 3, great horn, but it's not anywhere near new. It looks like new, but it's not new. And then we have a really cool King Symphony 20. So I want to show you these horns quickly. And if you're interested in one of those, I'll obviously make a deal on those as well, even though they could probably sell for like new prices. Let me grab one. So we'll start with the Edwards. First thing I'm going to say is, man, they have just really cool looking cases. And even though I'm not a fan of this kind of off-white, I see no reason not to have it. I mean, it's just a really cool case. It's a soft case, but it feels like it must be hard inside. Let's see what's inside there. Okay, so there is the Edwards X13. And I have not seen an Edwards in a long time. If you guys are new to the brand, it is kind of a subdivision of Getzen. And I think Getzen is a great American-made instrument and line of instruments. It has Edwards engraved on the bell. It says Elkhorn, Wisconsin, USA. And this horn was traded towards a brand new VPS Summit 1. And it does, he said it's brand new, and it does actually look brand new. And there was a story behind that. Apparently he was playing an X13 that he bought, and it was supposed to be new. And it turned out that it wasn't new, and he discovered it wasn't new because it had obvious signs of wear. And he waited months and months and months and finally got the new one. And in the interim decided to buy one of our horns. So we got it brand new. Let's play it. I like the sound of it. Yeah, it's easy to move around. It feels like the gap is a fairly good fit with my Spectratone yellow. This horn sounds warmer, so it's begging to have the Spectratone blue put in it. That feels nice. I like the feeling of openness that it has. And it's got a really big warm sound. That is the Edwards X13, and it's a cool looking horn. It's got these nickel bottom caps, nickel accents all over the place, including the balusters and the top caps, which it looks like a kind of a throwback to the Art Deco age, and also to some previous horns that were out there years ago. So that is the X13. Let's check out the next horn. Next is the Adams, which appears to have contracted guard to make the braces, or their cases. So here is the Adams. This was sold to me as near new, and looking at it, I would say it looks really good. I haven't dusted all the fingerprints off. Actually, some of these fingerprints might be mine, but this person traded it saying they didn't play it much. It didn't fit their needs. Looking very closely at it, it looks like this probably happened when it was manufactured, because I don't see how else it could have happened. But the bell definitely looks like somehow the way they spin these bells or something, it almost created a ledge right around where the wire was soldered in. And I'm not sure the process Adams uses to build their horns, but the bell, that little section, just, I mean, looking at it, it looks fine. I don't see any problems. But I'm a manufacturer, so I look really close, and I see like this unusual kind of ledge that I've never seen on a horn, and it looks like it happened before it was plated. So I think that was from brand new, and maybe they're all like that. I have no idea. But I don't play that many Adams horns. But it does look like a very fine horn, and let's play it. I might need to oil this valve. I want to point out, it is the A7, which is marked right here. And then it also says point or comma 40, which I believe means 0.4 millimeters, I think, of the bell thickness. So again, it is completely polished silver. It's got some nice mother of pearl inlays in it. And again, I'm willing to make a deal on this brand new or near new A7. Yes, it plays just fine. Alright, so that plays just fine with Spectratone Blue. Play it once with yellow because that's probably more like a standard mouthpiece. Yeah, it's a matter of me finding the right amount of air to put in this horn, and it does feel like the Venturi is a little smaller than I expected. Not small, just I thought it would be bigger based on the size of the bell. So that's a nice plain horn, the Adams A7. Next we have the Benge 3, which right now is in a Yamaha case. We do have various cases, so if you come in to our Denver shop and you want to buy a case with the horn, you can do that. This horn is not going to include this case, but I just want you to know we do have them. So here is the Benge, and this is marked Resno Tempered Bell number 3, custom built by Benge, Los Angeles, California. We just call that an LA Benge because it was made in Los Angeles. And that differentiates it from Burbank or from UMI or anyone else that's built them since then. But the older ones, I believe, are the better ones, not just because they're older, but also because they were built with a different type of craftsmanship and the designs are different back then. Now this isn't a perfect example of a Benge. With that said, it looks like it's in really good shape. Looking at it, I mean, if there were dings in this bell that were taken out, then I can't really tell. So I don't know that any were. I mean, it definitely has been used, but I don't feel or see any major issues at all. It looks just fine, feels fine. Let's play it. So right away I'll say this has the vintage Benge sound. It sounds like a Benge 3 and a little bit like the 3X. That, you know, they're not that different. And it feels really good. It has a different feeling than you would expect from some of the more modern horns, because when this was built, the design idea, this is kind of in line with Schilke. It was designed to be a big sound, but it starts with more of a compact core. It's a lot of fun to play. It has an unusual bell taper, and I've measured these before. It really does have a lot of volume to it, but it's not a real big diameter. So when you compare this to one of our standard bells, let's see, this is one of our, that's actually not one of ours. Here's our standard number 1 bell. You can see the diameter is obviously different. So our standard number 1 is 4.9 inches. This is smaller. And there's nothing wrong with that, but it does project in a different way. It doesn't spread out so much, it's more focused. So it is different that way. That is the Benge 3. I would say a great horn, either for someone who really loves that type of sound, or maybe you used to play one and you want one again, or someone who just wants to create really what was, back in the 50s, 60s, 70s, a fairly common orchestral sound that you'd find in classical music was something like this. And it has changed over the years. So that's the Benge 3. Because it's used, even though it's a beautiful horn, it does have a little bit of wear. I'm sure there's little scuffs and nicks here that I'm not seeing. I haven't shined it up, but I make a killer deal on this horn. Next we have the King Symphony 20, and this is the original case from what I was told. And this was purchased by Chris at the H.N. White company that is essentially like restoring old White instruments. So King was part of that group, and this case is really, really cool. It's tempting just to keep it because, I mean, to keep the horn in the case because it's so nice. It does have some electrical tape around the leather on the handle, and I haven't unwrapped it to see what that's like. If you wanted to restore the leather handle, I'm sure you could take it to reputable leatherworks and they could redo that for you. And you'd have a near mint case to go along with this fine horn. And here it is. Man, that is a beauty. So that is the King Super 20 Silver Sonic. Oh, Symphony Silver Sonic. Forgot the name of it. They had a lot of elaborate names. Okay, let me read it all. King Super 20 Symphony Silver Sonic, made by the H.N. White Company, Cleveland, Ohio. And that's all hand engraved. And it's just beautiful. And it was fully restored. I don't know exactly what was changed on it. There are a couple very light lacquer marks that have slight lacquer wear, which I most likely will just slightly polish and respray those little spots to clean it up. But they're just here and there, and that's all I see. Everything else is like brand new. And it came with an original King mouthpiece. This is the S1. And I'll play it with the S1 just so you can hear that. But man, talk about a beautiful horn. It's got the sterling silver lead pipe and the sterling silver bell, and it's marked silver right here. And this came in on a trade towards, what horn did he get? Oh, towards a Muse. So this trumpet just came in towards a Muse, and it is just a really beautiful horn. I can't wait to play it. While those notes are closer together than I'd expect, probably because I'm not used to this mouthpiece, but the Fs. Yeah, that's funny. So this is the original mouthpiece. And now, not to screw up my chops, I'm going to go back to my mouthpiece. I don't want to play on that too long. Wow. Nothing against the original mouthpiece, but this fits me better, and I definitely feel like I can get a much more beautiful, vibrant sound with it. This is such a nice horn. Now these are not inexpensive, and I'll have a little wiggle room on the price, but I think he told me he paid $3,200 or $3,300 for it because it's completely restored. It's got the sterling silver bell and lead pipe, which is a special option. And yeah, there's a little wiggle room, but I'm not going to be able to sell it to you for some crazy low price. I'd rather just hold on to it if that's the case. But if you're a collector who loves to play really nice vintage horns, this is literally the cream of the crop. to that low end. It's just so big and warm and vibrant. Oh, it just makes me want to take up the Arbans and play the characteristic studies if I could be in practice enough to play them. That's really a nice, fine, beautiful horn. So that is the King, and the King Super 20 Silver Sonic. Awesome. I've got to find out what year it was made. I don't remember. All right, the last trumpet that we have today is a Shires B1. This horn has been played and loved, and it does show signs of wear. It's stamped B1 right here, and what else can I say about the stamps on this? I don't know what else I can say. The bell does have a couple dings in it. I will most likely try to straighten those out before this horn goes out the door, but it will not be perfect, I guarantee you that, because I don't spend all my time repairing horns. It does have what you would call a reverse lead pipe tuning slide configuration, which essentially that situation just lengthens the tuning slide or the lead pipe and changes kind of some of the intonation variables. But let's play it. Well, I have to say, it plays really well. Shires B1 is known for really its vibrancy. It's got a very distinct color, and that's there. Again, bigger and warmer. It doesn't sound that different from the last trumpet I played, the King. However, it definitely feels a little different. I would say it's not as stable as the King. Not that we need to compare the two, but it has more vibrancy and more resonance throughout. You know, even at lower dynamic levels, it's going to vibrate more. And I would say it just sounds more lively. The other one sounds more mature. They both can be very live, but it's mostly the bell on these horns. You know, both of these bells are acting a little bit differently. And also, it sounds closer to the Benge. You know, it feels a little closer to the Benge, even though the bell diameter's bigger than the Benge. They're all three of those horns are kind of in the same range of instruments. I'd say the King has the most mature, stable feel to it, and this one's maybe more the wild card that wants to kind of get away from you a little bit. Yeah, it's almost like it likes to be pushed, and it creates that vibrancy, but it always feels like there's an extra little pushback on this horn. So if you like the feeling of a little bit of resistance, the B1 might be the right horn for you. And yeah, overall I would say great player. Not the best condition, it's not bad. I mean, it's overall just a well cared for horn that has a couple dings in it. And I probably need to change the pads because those, like a lot of Shilkes, sound a little noisy. But otherwise, a great all-around playing horn that would really lend itself to lead and commercial and situations where you want more vibrancy and more brightness. I've got one left. This is a Manchester brass cornet inside here, so let's take a look at it. When I first saw the logo, I haven't seen many Manchester brass because I know they're just they're like an import. somebody imports these horns and probably makes a killing on the profit margin, because I can imagine the profit is massive on these horns. But it looks like it's some kind of a Chinese valve set, and they're probably made in China, but I'm not seeing where it says it's made. And this one, the seller said it was a like new instrument, and I would say that, yeah, it probably is brand new. No, there's a scratch here. There's a scratch on the lacquer, so it's not brand new, but it's pretty close. And it looks like it probably wasn't played a lot, because that tuning slide doesn't have too many marks or anything in it. And I've got a trumpet mouthpiece, not going to fit, right? So let me put the back bore for a cornet on my Spectratone yellow and play this for you. Okay, so all I need to do is take the back bore off and put the new one on. And now my Spectratone yellow is a cornet mouthpiece. Not really, but it'll fit. So that's Spectratone yellow with a cornet back bore. If you wanted more of a brilliant punch to a cornet, that's one way to do it. I wouldn't recommend this if you're actually playing in a brass band, because it's not going to work. We need to put this on Spectratone blue. So now my Spectratone blue is a cornet mouthpiece, and we do make cornet mouthpieces actually. So you can get a shorter body and it'll be the right length. But you can also just put a back bore on any of the Spectratone series. It's actually a decent playing horn. Chinese or not, it plays just fine, and it feels good. So I noticed one more thing. I can see that this bell had been set down on something. I don't know if it was stand or something else, and some of the lacquer is a little rough and worn right there. It does look very nice, but it definitely is not brand new. It's a nice warm sound. So that is the Manchester Brass cornet. I don't know if they just make one model. Maybe that's how it works. But I don't see anything else marked on it, so that's all I know. It plays just fine. I would say it plays maybe on par with a Getzen cornet. It's, you know, maybe not the top end for sure, but it doesn't feel like it has any issues. And I don't feel like I had any problems moving the slide, so if I wanted to focus on intonation, I should be fine there too. So that's the Manchester Brass. And I want to thank you for making it to the end of this video. I don't know who could have, because that was a lot of stuff to cover. The three main points are that we are buying new machinery, and I'm willing to make a deal on these horns simply because, you know, hundreds of thousands of dollars is a lot of money. And if I can make some deals and bring in some extra cash in the next few weeks, that would help you and it would help me as well. And it would be good for everybody, because the new machinery is going to improve delivery times. The other big thing is we are introducing dealers, so we'll start taking applications, I guess you could say, or at least entertaining ideas for new dealers. And the third thing is the Spectratone series are going to go up on backer kit. It will be the lowest price we've ever had on these as a set. And if you're interested in getting into the modular mouthpieces, hopefully you saw what I did with those, with red, yellow, and blue. And they each have their own character. You can set them all up with the same rim, or change those if you'd like. And they are probably the most versatile mouthpieces in the world. I know that's kind of boasting a bit, but I just say that from experience, because I have pretty much every kind of mouthpiece there is I have a massive mouthpiece collection. Some of you have probably seen it. But we engineered the Spectratone series to be able to do everything. So it's not really a fair comparison because we designed it from the ground up to do something other mouthpieces couldn't really do. But that will launch on Monday, which would be just in 5 days from now. So watch for that. Jump on the early specials the first 2 days where you get the best pricing. And thank you again just for supporting us. If you're ever in the Denver area and you want to visit Harrelson and take a tour of our showroom and our machine shop and our assembly area and finishing and all this stuff and meet us, it's a lot of fun. I'd be happy to meet up with you. If you fly in, I'm always happy to pick you up at the airport and take you back. We have recommendations on places to go and things to see while you're here, and even hotels to stay at that are near the shop. And we're just here for you, because this is what we do, and we want to make your visit and your experience as great as possible. We want it to be very memorable and something that you cherish for the rest of your life. So thank you again, and I'll see you next time.